tell them to stop procreating. We want them to stop. So we can be free from this once and for all. That's why. I don't hate people. I'm doing it to save all of us from sin and sin and sinful salvations and evil and trials and tribulations. Free us from this vessel so we can stop struggling with our desires of our flesh versus what our spirit really wants, which is to try to be good and operate in our higher selves, close to the Most High, so we can have permanent salvation once we leave this plane. But you know how long we have to deal with it, to resist, especially, heterosexual. And you have to deal with temptations and not procreating deliberately. You use contraceptive and all these methods to try to not to procreate, but you really have to make a what do you call it? You got to be aware. You have to make a conscious choice every time you engage, and you have to be careful. And that's why I say Roe versus Wade. Bring back the birth control, so we at least have that to mitigate that. But in some cases, it's amazing how some people procreate under the most impoverished conditions or bad conditions. So it's like, what we can do is try to mitigate it. We try to use science and everything, try to use methods to prevent or indirectly affect the reproduction rate, depopulate. But somehow people still manage to procreate amongst all the efforts of science and God or whatever, the powers that be. And all we're trying to do is just trying to free us from this so we can stay in the spirit, in permanent satisfaction and salvation. But we got to make that effort. But while we're making that effort, it seems like a nightmare to resist, and when resisting that flesh, that damn flesh of desires, for the sake of trying to achieve permanent salvation. And daily, people just show they don't want to stop. They want to indulge. Some of them, they don't even approve of it. They do the opposite, and they prove they don't care, because they still manage to still procreate or do it anyway. Because at the end of the day, it's still their bodies. God he didn't wipe out when he had the chance to do it. He chose to preserve. Whatever story you believe in, a belief system you believe in, you don't believe in none of it, that's cool too. I understand, because they use so many names. It's almost like all of them just trickster gods in some sense. They violate their own rules. So we have to do it as a collective. We have to make a conscious decision towards that, or let people be.